Yeah, and I know when we've talked in the past, you had mentioned incorporating so many of the real life experiences, and that there's so many backgrounds and cultures to incorporate. Whether, as you said, living on a farm or in cities, you try and hit so many different backgrounds to kind of hit your whole audience, and that's a difficult thing to do, especially as you said before, if you're teaching to a test, as is probably the bane of a lot of teachers' existence. I'm sure a lot of teachers would hope that they had more greater flexibility and less rigidity around the requirements of teaching to that test. What's your thoughts on that responsibility?
Yeah, well, one of the great misnomers in education, sometimes educators kind of try and bury their head in the sand to say that every single I just say third grader for as an example, because that's usually where we start, but an 8-year-old kid, so think of an 8-year-old kid, think of their interest level, think of their educational wants and needs. So what we like to think is every single third grader needs to be at this point in time at the end of the school year. Is that really fair? Is that really even possible? Not necessarily true. Now, if you bring into that socioeconomic status, culture, whether they live in an inner city or they live in suburbia or they live on a farm someplace, whether they're affluent, whether they're impoverished, whether they, we like to take for granted in suburbia this idea of computer based sort of things. Everything should just be online.